Hello, Libra. How are you? Welcome into your weekly reading. Let's see what the theme is. We're going to start with the theme for Libra. Next 7 days. What's in store? I knew you were going to get this card. I knew you were going to get this card. I don't know why, but I could feel it. Like this intense energy. Just feeling like almost to the point where it's irritation. You could be dealing with some extremes this week, Libra. Now, this doesn't mean like, I just feel like extreme, almost like a hot flash. You know, I don't know if you guys know what that feels like, but it's almost like just intense frustration or irritation or just panic even. There could be a little bit of a panic, going into panic mode this week about something. It's like it completely goes, it swings, from one end of the pendulum to the other. Like it's crazy. I feel like something does a 180. Or maybe you do a 180. It like completely flips. Completely shifts. What is this about? Libra, challenge, please, for Libra. Challenge for Libra. I'm not going to take that because who got this? Hold on, let me see. I can't remember now. It could have been Gemini. Somebody else got this. But I don't know. Maybe there's a problem with a companion of yours, someone close to you. Resurrection, comeback, rebirth, and renewal. That's coming up as a challenge. Full moon temple. We had the full moon in Scorpio on the 1st. And then the full moon in Sag is going to be on the 31st. But yeah. Maybe that's why you're going. Maybe it's almost like something does need an extreme makeover, an extreme solution, like it needs to go almost in a crazy direction, like something that you wouldn't believe, or it's like an unbelievable turning of events, so that you can have your comeback, so that you can have your rebirth, your renewal, your resurrection as the phoenix rising from the ashes. Yeah, like something's got you hot, something's got you irritated because it's stopping your comeback, or it's affecting your comeback. You're trying to make a comeback, and it's like everything's kind of fighting against you to do that. Or that's what it feels like. I'm not saying that that's actually what's happening, but it feels like that for sure. Yeah, it's almost like ghostly timelines are getting in the way. Old shit is getting in the way, Libra. It's not letting you move forward. So you're going to extremes to do that, or you feel like a wave of irritation, frustration, or panic. I just heard fighting fire with fire. Like echoes of the past they're getting in the way of your own resurrection. You're trying to come back to life as a new, whole and complete person. But yeah, look, that's what I'm telling you. I was staring at the resurrection card, 6 of Cups, the past. Specifically with your mother, or on your mother's side, or you as a mother, or just the women in your family, or the women in your life, okay, have had a significant effect on hindering, that's a good word, on hindering your comeback. You're going to have to take it one day at a time. There's a lot that you want to do. There's a lot that you want to change. And you want things to change. I can see it. You don't want things to stay the same anymore. You want the past to stay in the past. Life moves on, And this is stuff that's like at least a year old. It could be that you've been trying for a whole year to make a comeback. But again, it's just been blocked. It's been blocked. Now, there are issues of trust. There are issues of abandonment. There are issues of loneliness, isolation, separation. This could be sickness for sure. Maybe illnesses holding you back. Especially that could affect your sleep or your emotions. There is a chance for a new beginning, though. There's a chance for a fresh start. It's a very passionate fresh start. It's a very inspiring fresh start. I think you want to take action on it. I think that it's going to make you happy in the long run. Like, this is long-term happiness. Or it could make you bring happiness for your family as well, your children maybe, or your inner child. It could make your inner child happy. But yeah, there's just some... It's almost like it's so far out of reach. Like, it's just there. It's at your fingertips. Something is at your fingertips, but you cannot attain it. Or at least that's what it feels like. It feels like you're stuck in a loop. And I think that that's why you're feeling extreme emotions this week, or just dealing with irritation and frustration, because it feels like no matter what you do, you get roped back in. You get roped back into this cycle. Let's see. Let's clarify. Six of Cups. I'm going to start with that. The Devil. I think that you believe that there's the frustration or irritation. Literally lack of sleep. Having a nightmare every single night. Like, it's just... Or something has turned into a nightmare. You feel like you're stuck in loops of pain. You have to really take a good hard look at these cycles, Libra. The cycles that you put yourself in. I think there's cycles of codependency. And I honestly, and I'm saying this with a lot of love, I think you're afraid to be alone, or to die alone, or to end up alone. This feels almost like a love reading. Definitely look at the cycles that you and again, there's something here about just getting played by women. Your relationship with women. This is a very, very specific reading, but it could be like, look at the relationship and how you were cared for by your mother, right? Like, of course, we have to look at that. We have to look at the relationship, especially with the mother. Even if you've had an absent mother, even if you were adopted or you grew up in the foster care system, there's been research and studies done because of that physical connection that you have with your mother, right? We're in the womb for 9 months. But anyway, the point is that there is a toxic, unhealthy past. And it's coming up a lot this week for you, Libra. It's just shadows of the past, echoes of the past, pain of the past, sorrow of the past, heartbreak of the past. And to the point where it might literally be causing some nightmares or some weird dreams. And I think that you have the potential to have an abundant future and an abundant dream come true, but you have to get the golden egg of wisdom. You know what I mean? You have to use that wisdom. You've gained a lot of knowledge. You've learned a lot of lessons along the way. You have to use that to be flexible, to be malleable, to Try new things so that you can change your life, because you're tired of this, I think. I think you're tired of feeling anxious or stressed out. I'm gonna be honest. This feels like, because from someone who has this feels like CPTSD. You know, this feels like just not knowing why certain things trigger you. You know that it's like it's got to do with something with your childhood or something with the past, and so you're having to sit there and think, okay, I've had a good day. Why the hell am I anxious, or why the hell am I angry, or because it could be anything, you know. And you have to work through this trauma, because there is trauma here, Libra. There's trauma. There's a traumatic past or a traumatic childhood, and it's coming up this week. And I'm not saying that you're not doing any work, because you are. You're doing a lot of work. It's clear to me that you're working on making yourself feel better and becoming a better version of yourself, the version of yourself that you want to be. Okay? But unfortunately, you have to remember all of these things when you get wrapped up in karmic loops, because that's what's going on here. You get hung up or stuck in what you think is a happy, solid, stable situation that has a future, right? But then it's like you get clarity and you realize that there might not be as much teamwork and positivity as you thought, because there's something negative that's got a hold of you simply because you have a history, simply because there's a past. Again, something about the mother. It just keeps coming up. Relationship with your mother, or as a mother, or with a woman. But it's just relationships in general. All right, Libra, you gotta look at the relationships. Are they relationships that you're forcing? Are they relationships where you get taken advantage of? Are they relationships where you always have to be the yes man? I know that this is for Libra, right? This is a reading for Libra, and you're likely watching because you're a sun or moon Libra. But this feels very much South Node Libra. So if you have a sun in Libra and South Node Libra, and especially if they're very close to each other in degrees, that means that you were born around an eclipse or on an eclipse. So that's an even crazier thing to think about. But as far as your natal chart goes, but yeah, this feels very much like people pleasing, getting wrapped up in other people's dreams, other people's stories, sacrificing everything for everybody else, and then there's not much left for you. And I think that at this point, you're very aware of that. And I think that this week you're healing those toxic, unhealthy, negative, traumatic experiences, because they are trauma. This is trauma bonding, or just someone guilt tripping you, or making you feel like you're tied to them simply because you have a history or you have a past, and that's just not good enough anymore. And that's why you're feeling extremes. All right. I hope that this helped, Libra. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.